How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Samach Gimel Daf 63 of Masechet Nedarim. Friends, what can I tell you about Daf 63? We finished the 8th parak of Masechet Nedarim. That's pretty cool. Friends, we're talking about Nedarim. We're starting Daf Samach Beis and Beis. That seems to be the theme of this Masechta, that we talk about Nedarim. We're going to start in Daf Samach Beis and Beis, 4 lines from the bottom. Ad Geshomim. So if a fellow says, she's not going to drink wine until the Geshomim. So, Achihu Geshomim. Or if he says until it will be Geshomim. Acheter Revia Shnia. So it means until it rains for the second Revia. Okay, we're going to learn a shtickle about what that means. Reb Shimon Gamliel Omer, what did he say? He said, until it's the tkufa, until it's the time for the rain, whether or not it rains. The truth is, here in Eretz Yisrael, the weather's been a little interesting over here. It's been very, very warm, and it hasn't been raining much. But tomorrow they're expecting shtickle rain. Says the Gemara, Omer Reb Zera, says Reb Zera, machlok is the Omer Ad Geshomim. So says Reb Zera that the machlokas is only if he says Ad Geshomim plural, avo, but Omer Ad Geshem, if he says until the rain singular, Adman Geshomim ko Omar, well then it definitely means like Reb Shimon Gamliel says that it's Zman Geshomim, until the time of the Geshomim. Okay, fine. Meisve, we have a kasha. What's the kasha? What is considered the time of the rains? Well, habechire begimel, the early rains is the 3rd of Mar Cheshvan. Beinon is b'shiva. The middle rains are the 7th of Mar Cheshvan. Afela be'esim v'shlosha. And the later rains are the 23rd of Mar Cheshvan. A different gear that says the 17th, Shiva also, the 17th of Mar Cheshvan, Divrei Meir. That's Reb Meir's opinion. Reb Yehuda Omer says Reb Yehuda b'Shiva, u'B'Shiva also v'Esim v'Shlosha. That it's not 3, 7, and 17, it's 7, 17, and 23. Reb Yossi Omer says the holy Reb Yossi b'Shiva also v'Esim v'Shlosha, whereas Reb Yossi says the 17th and the 23rd of Rosh Chodesh Kislev, as well as Rosh Chodesh Kislev. V'chein oy Reb Yossi Omer, and similarly Reb Yossi would say, Eina yichidim misanim, that the righteous individuals would not begin to fast for rain ad sheyagia Rosh Chodesh Kislev, until it reaches Rosh Chodesh Kislev. If at that point it still didn't rain, they would start to fast. For Aminan Allah, we said Bishlam Revia Rishona Lishoel. So I understand what the point of the significance of the first rains are, that there are first revias, that's when we start saying V'sein Talamoto Levrocha. Shlishish Lishanos, the third revia is that if it still hasn't rained, then we gotta start fasting, that the Yechidim start fasting. Elashnia, but what's the significance of the second revia? Lemai, what's it for? Omer Reb Zera, and says Reb Zera, Lenoder, that it's for somebody who makes a neder, that if somebody makes a neder Ad Geshomim, so, and we want to assume that this is referring to Ad Geshem, right? That if a fellow makes a neder Ad Geshem, so then it means until the Revia Shnia. Then it means the Revia Shnia. V'aminan Allah, and we said, Kiman Azla Adetanya, like who does the following brayso go? Like Reb Shimon Gamliel Omer says Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, Geshamim sheyardu Shiva Yomim, that if it rains for 7 days, that if a mamish it rains for 7 days, Ze'achar Zeh, the entire time, Atamona ben Revia Rishona Vishnia. So we count it as both the first rain and the second rain. Kiman Reb Yossi. So that's like Reb Yossi, right? Meaning, according to Reb Yossi, right, the first rains is the 17th, the second is the 23rd, and the third is Rosh Chodesh Kislev. Which means that if you do 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 is day 7. So we see that if it starts raining on the 17th and continues raining for 7 days, it'll be the 23rd, which is both the first Revia and the second Revia. And we're saying that the significance of the second Revia is for Nedarim, and it's saying if it dafka rains, right? It says, what is it? Gisham sheyardu, that it dafka rains. So here we see that we're assuming right now that we're talking about, we're assuming that this brayso is talking about Geshem, right? Singular. And we're still saying that it's talking about it actually rains. Not like Reb Zera wanted to say that machlokas the Amar ad Geshem val Amar ad Geshem ad Zman Geshem Kamar, that everybody agrees that if he says Geshem, then it means till the time of rain. But we want to assume that this Brisa is talking about when he says Geshem singular, and we're still saying Ad Sheyerdu, right? Geshem Sheyardu Shiva Yom. That if it rains, mamish rains for 7 days, so then we can consider it to be the first and second Reviyas. That's like Rabbi Yossi, who says that the first Reviyah is the 17th, the second Reviyah is the 23rd. So if it rains from the 17th through the 23rd, it's considered the first and the second Reviyahs. And we're saying it's mamish raining, and we're saying that what's the significance of the second Reviyah for Nedarim? So we see that even if he says that he's not going to drink wine until the Geshem, it means mamish falling rain, not just the time of the rain. And for the Gemara, 9. The Gemara says, no, this Brisa Oichit is talking about Ada Geshamim when he says Geshamim, plural. Friends, what do you think about that? I know what you thought about that. You think, let's go weiter. Says the Mishnah, Konam Yain Shani Toim, Shani Toim L'Shoneh. Alright, fellow says, it's Rosh Hashanah, and he says, I ain't going to drink no wine for a Shoneh, for a year. And little did he know, Nisabra Shoneh becomes a leap year. He thought he was getting himself into a 12-month commitment. Now it becomes a leap year. Now what? Is this now a 13-month commitment? So Nisabra Shana Asr Ba Uvi Ibura. Yeah, it's now a 13-month commitment. Ad Reish Adar Arishin. If he says until Reish Chedesh Adar, it means until Adar Arishin, right? If it's a leap year, it means till the first Adar. Ad Seif Adar Arishin. And if he says till the end of Adar, that means to the end of Adar Harishin, till the end of the first Adar. So when he says Adar Stam, and it's a leap year, so it means the first Adar. Says the Gemara, Alma Stamid the Adar de Ka'amar Rishinu. So says the Gemara that, okay, apparently when a fellow says Adar Stam, he just says Adar, it means the first Adar, right? He says Ad Rosh Chodesh Adar, it means Ad Rosh Adar Harishin, it means till the first Adar. So Memele, it means that that if he just says Adar, it means the first Adar. My brother's over here. My brother's here in Yerushalayim. Hello. Yeah, he even said hi. That was nice. He didn't have to. He's a nice guy. Sure. He's a nice guy. Yeah, he just picked up a few things. He's putting them in the fridge. Yeah. Oh, he's going to see me soon. Alright. I wonder where he's going. Okay, well, we got stuff to do. So, fine. Leim Masizin Rabbi Yehuda. So let's say that the author of our Mishnah is the Tana Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanya is learned in the Brisa. Adar Harishin Kosev Adar Harishin. Adar Sheni Kosev Adar Stam. I'm waiting for him to close the door because it's noisy outside. I think. Anyways, if he says Adar, so Divrei Reb Meir. So Reb Meir says that for the first Adar he's going to have to write Adar Harishin, right? Adar Sheni Kosev Adar Stam. But for Adar Sheni, he just writes Adar. And that Memele means Adar Sheni. So we see that Reb Meir's opinion is that Stam Adar is Adar Sheni. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, whereas Rabbi Yehuda says, Adar Harishin Kosev Stam, Adar Sheni Kosev Tinayin. Whereas Rabbi Yehuda says, Punkt Fakert, that Adar Rishon, he just writes Adar. And that means Adar Rishon. If he just writes Stam Adar, it means Adar Rishon. And Adar Sheni, Kosev Tinayin, right? But Adar Sheni, you would have to specify. So we see that according to Rabbi Yehuda, Stam Adar is Adar Rishon. Just like our Mishnah, that if he says Ad Reish Adar, it means Adar Harishin. Amar Abaye, Filutem Reb Meir. Abaye says, no, you can even say the author of our Mishnah is Reb Meir. Oh, now the neighbor. Okay, said it. So it could even be Reb Meir. So Reb Meir had said that Stam Adar is Adar Sheni. Yet our Mishnah could still be Reb Meir even. Ha diyada de me'abra shata ha dilo yada. It depends if he knew that it was going to be a leap year or not, right? When Reb Meir said that Stam Adar is Adar Sheni, that's when he knows that it's already a leap year. So he said, so it's Adar Sheni. But if he didn't know that it was a leap year, so again, it's Rosh Hashanah, and he says he's not going to drink wine for a year, so then, and he doesn't yet know that it's going to be a leap year, so then, Memele, what's Adar Stam? Adar Rishon. Even when it turns out to be a leap year, he's talking about Adar Rishon, because at the time that he made the Neder, he didn't know that it was going to be a leap year yet. Ve'atanya, and we learn in the Brisa, Ad Reish Chedesh Adar, that if a fellow says until Reish Chedesh Adar, Ad Reish Chedesh Adar Harishin. It means until the Reish Chedesh of the first Adar. Im Hoysa Shana Muberes. Now, if it was a leap year, Ad Reish Chodesh Adar Sheni, then it means till Reish Chodesh Adar Sheni. Bichlal Reish Lab Muberes Askinan. In fact, the Gemara, I don't understand. Again, if you take out your brain a shtickle and you look at the Braise, so it said Ad Reish Chodesh Adar Arishin. And if he says until Reish Chodesh Adar, means Reish Chodesh Adar Arishin. Reish Chodesh Adar Arishin implies that there's an Adar Asheni, right? The first Adar implies that there's a second Adar, which means obviously we're talking about a leap year, and we're saying until the first Adar, and then it's Imaisa Shana Muberes, and if it's a leap year, what, the ratio wasn't a leap year? Of course it was a leap year. We're talking about the first Adar versus the second Adar. So the ratio was talking about leap year, and it says V'Imaisa Shana Muberes, and if it was a leap year, so obviously the Sefer is also talking about a leap year. Ad Rosh Chodesh Adar Sheni means till the second Rosh Chodesh Adar. So Shma Mina Hadibshitale Tima B'Shata Adalo Yada. So it depends. The first one, when it says it's until Adar Rishon, it's when he made the neder, he didn't know yet that it was going to be a leap year. So then it's Adar Rishon. Now, if at the time that he made the neder, it was already a leap year, so then Stam Adar is Adar Sheni, and that would be like Reb Meir. Okay, friends? We now wrap up. We finish off the Perek with a final long Mishnah. Rebuta Omer says, Rebuta Konam Yain She'eni Toim Ad She'ei HaPesach. The fellow says he's not going to drink wine until Passover. Lo niskabin ze elo ad leil Pesach ad shah shederech b'nei odom lishtos yain. So it means that he's going to refrain from drinking wine until Seder night, when he drinks the Daled Kosis. Wow, those Daled Kosis are going to get him fashnikit. Omer konim basar she'eni toim ad she'atzom. Fellow says that he's not going to eat basar, he's not going to eat meat until the fast day. Eino osir ela ad leile tzom. It means that he's not going to eat meat until Erev Yom Kippur. Basar means until the people normally eat their meal, their meat, before Yom Kippur. Rabbi Yossi ben Omer says, Rabbi Yuda's son Rabbi Yossi, Konam Shum She'ani Toim. If he says I'm not going to eat any garlic, Ad Shetei Shabbos, until Shabbos, Eino also Ela Ad Leili Shabbos. So it's only also, so you can't eat garlic until Friday night. So he intends to refrain from eating garlic until the people normally eat garlic on Friday night, and then at that point he can eat garlic like everybody else. A fellow says to his friend, I ain't getting no benefit from you. Im ein at ba v'nota levanecha kor echad shel chitin v'shtei chavias shel yain. Right, Reuven says to Shimon, I'm not going to get any benefit. Well, I guess you're not going to get any benefit from me unless you come and take for your son stuff, right? Some wheat, some wine. You got to come. I want you to take the stuff for your son. I owe you. Unless you accept it, you won't get any benefit from me. So they don't need to do a whole ataras nedarim v'yomar, and Shimon can say, look, klum omar te'elam pnei kvodi, you only said this out of honor for me, that you want me to have these things. Zeu kvodi, it's also my honor to be able to say, look, I don't need it, to be moichel zayin. So therefore, they don't need to go do a proper ataras nedarim. Shimon could say, don't worry about it, and then Reuven, and then, they could still get benefit and stuff. Also, if a fellow says to his friend, you can't get any benefit from me, unless you come and you give to my son a bunch of wheat and wine. Reb Meir almost says, Reb Meir says, all right, well, the guy's got to give it, pay up. Also, this doesn't require all ataras nedarim. Look, Reuven initially said out, you can't get any benefit from me unless you give me a whole bunch of stuff. Reuven could then later on rescind and say, you know what? Let's just accept it. Let's just treat it as though I already received it, and all good. And they wouldn't need to do a whole ataras nedarim. If they were like really applying the pressure to marry his niece, they really wanted him to marry his niece. And he says, no, she will never get any benefit from me. Also, a fellow who's going through a divorce, and he says that she can never get any benefit from me. in both cases, the niece and the ex-wife would be able to get benefit from him. He's only saying, in the context of marriage, I don't want to have any kind of relationship there. I don't want her to get any benefit from me. But, as long as there's a divorce, or they say, fine, you don't need to get married, so then they can get benefit. Fine. If Reuven was very insistent that Shimon should come over for some food, and Shimon says, forget it. I'm not going to your house. I'm not eating epis. He would nonetheless be able to go into Reuven's house. Wait, so what's tzonin over here? It's just a cold drink or whatever? Yeah, cold water. Nonetheless, Shimon would be able to go into Reuven's house and drink cold water, because he's saying he's not going to have a proper meal there. He doesn't want to sit down and have a proper meal, but he would be able to just go in sort of in like a chilled out kind of way. Well, friends, Hadron Olach Konum Yain. Okay, with that we complete the parak of Konum Yain of Masechta Nedarim. I hope you enjoyed today's daf. We talked about some interesting stuff. We talked about the Revi'ah Shniya, right, and the machlokas between Reb Shimon ben Gamliel and the Chacham there. And then we talked about, right, when we say other stam, does mean other rishon or other sheni. We saw the machlokas between Reb Yehuda and Reb Meir there. Reb Meir says that stam other is other sheni, whereas Reb Yehuda says stam other is other rishon. And then we wrapped up the 8th parak of Masechta Nedarim. Hope you enjoy. Peace out.